Hi, my name is Atif Kamal. This is episode 28 of Be Logical. It seems like tax-free online sales might be coming to an end. And the way that online sales works currently is that if the seller and the buyer are in different states, the buyer does not have to pay taxes on their transaction. But if the buyer and the seller are in the same state, the buyer does have to pay taxes on their transaction. Now, the way that this would change if the current legislation is passed is that regardless of where the buyer or the seller are in the United States, the buyer would have to pay taxes on it. And while I enjoyed not having to pay taxes, I kind of feel like it's fair that no matter where you are, you pay the taxes that are due for each particular state. It's definitely being talked about because the U.S. Senate voted 74 and there are 20 opposed to debating the online sales tax issue. So that means it is being debated. It will be debated. Now there's something weird about, or something I find weird about the current legislation being considered, and it's that it would omit online businesses making $1 million or less. So they would not have to collect sales taxes. It seems weird to me because I feel like no matter who the business is, whether online or offline, they should have to collect taxes, since all offline businesses have to collect taxes. I just assume that every business should have to collect sales taxes. And I want to give you an analogy. Now the analogy is, say that you are visiting a state different from your own, you make a purchase in that state, you would pay the sales taxes of that state that you're visiting. You would not, it's not like you would not pay sales taxes of that state just because you're from another state. You would pay it regardless. And I think it's the same way if you're buying something from another state, a state different from the one that you are in, you should have to pay sales taxes equivalent to the tax rate of the state that your product is coming from. Okay. And also, another reason why I think it's a good idea to have to pay sales taxes regardless of where in the United States the business is because it's also easier for the honest buyer. When I say the honest buyer, I mean when you have to do your tax refund. I don't know about yours, but for mine, when I had to e-file, I was asked, did I make any purchases online for which I did not pay sales taxes on? And I said yes, and I looked through my eBay account and my Amazon account. I looked at all the transactions I didn't pay tax on, and I wrote that in my my tax filing, and they calculated the taxes for me, and I paid whatever taxes that I hadn't originally paid at the time of my transactions. Okay, so rather than do all of that, me looking through all those transactions, it's easier for the businesses just to collect the sales tax at the time of the transaction. So that's another reason why I think that it would be better for businesses just to collect sales taxes regardless of where you are in the United States. Now there have been some objections to this legislation that's being considered. One objection was made by Senator Max Baucus of Montana, and this is exactly what he said. He said, "This legislation doesn't help businesses expand and grow and hire more employees. Instead, it forces small businesses to hire expensive lawyers and accountants to deal with burdensome paperwork and added complexity of tax rules and filings across multiple states." Now, there are two problems with this statement or this quote from Max Baucus. Number one, he makes an assumption. He assumes that a lot of small businesses don't already have lawyers or accountants, and I think, to be honest, he doesn't really know that for sure. And also, a problem is he's saying that there will have to be filings across multiple states. I'm not convinced that that's the case because, again, taxes would be collected from the buyers at the tax rate of the seller, not the buyers. So you only have one tax rate, so I'm not sure why there would be filings from multiple states. There's another objection made by Senator Kelly Ayotte of New Hampshire, and this is what she said. For the first time, small internet businesses, such as the small seller operating out of his house, would have to figure out the sales tax rate where his customers reside and then remit that tax accordingly. Now, I disagree with that. I think exactly the contrary is true. The seller, I think, as I indicated before, would only have to collect taxes equivalent to the tax rate of their own state, not the buyer states. So the exact contrary is true. Okay? And I got that information from Robert W. Wood, who is a tax lawyer. And I should say in advance, the objection, or rather in retrospect, the objection from Max Baucus I got from Associated Press via Yahoo from the article Senate Bill Jeopardizes Tax-Free Online Shopping by Stephen Olmecker. And the objection from Senator Kelly Ayotte I got from Small Business Trends. The name of the article is Small Business Divided on Internet Sales Tax by Anita Campbell. One little thing I think should be considered, which it looks like this legislation overlooks, is that you wouldn't be taxed for sales from other countries. This covers taxes from other states, but not other countries. So, for example, a few months ago, I bought bike gloves. I bought them over eBay, but they came from China. The shipping was cheap, and I did not have to pay taxes on that. So, I'm guessing that a lot of buyers might try to do that. They might try to buy stuff from other countries. I'm not sure to what extent, how many buyers will do it, but that is a possibility that's left open, since this only covers the United States. It doesn't cover other countries. And that is this episode of Be Logical. Alright, thank you.